RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Imagine you've booked a dazzling vacation home perfect for your honeymoon.
Nice.
The house has it all. A pool, a spectacular view, and also the weird owner who lives behind a locked door in the hallway.
Hello! I can assure you I shan't be watching you during your stay, so why even bring it up?
Nope. We're leaving.
When you'd like a romantic vacation getaway instead of having to get away from your vacation, it matters where you stay. At Hilton, you can expect accommodations that meet your expectations. Hilton for the stay.
BooBaes.
Hello.
Hi.
Howdy, hi.
And welcome to
BooBaes.
BooBaes. That's right. We're your host. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And we're here to tell you about all the fun horror stabby stabs.
Mm-hmm.
And well, in honor of going back to school season starting, back to school. It's Baylor move-in day today.
It is.
Or tomorrow is, while this is being recorded. So
Gotcha.
Campus is a mess.
Oh, you live right around that area.
Yeah.
Right in the heart of it.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then my students go back to school tomorrow. So
Fun.
in honor of back to school, we thought we'd do some school-themed movies.
Yeah.
Yay. And so tell them what we're doing today.
Today we are going to be covering 1976. This is a movie released in 1976 called Carrie.
Carrie. That's
Yes.
right. Yay. While this technically occurs at the end of the year, we still thought it'd be fun.
Yeah. And it's still school related.
Gives you something to look
because it
forward
happens
to.
with some students. Yeah, for sure.
Pig's blood.
Literally. So if
Poor Piggy.
I feel like a lot of people are probably familiar with this, but if you're not, it's based off of Stephen King's novel titled the same, Carrie. It came out 2 years prior. And it's basically a supernatural horror film.
Yeah,
And we
kind of
follow
sci-fi.
Yeah, a little bit. We follow our main character, Miss Carrie White, and basically she's going through school like every other teenager, but there's a twist. There's some psychic abilities that she has, and also just her upbringing kind of molds the story into a culmination of, like Caitlin said, pig's blood and a lot of death and murder and people getting electrocuted and basically chopped in half almost, essentially. So yeah, it's
it's a wild ride at
it
the
really
end.
is.
Shit just hits the fan.
And the whole time the movie's happening, there's a really good sense of just like eeriness and like creep factor, I guess. Because there are certain moments where it's kind of like a jump scare moment or something that happens a few, but it's really more just like building all the way to like the big finale. Yeah. It almost feels like it's in a few acts.
It's not, the ending is like where I feel like it can really become classified as a horror film. The whole rest of it's just kind of like, wow, this girl's pretty weird.
Like the sci-fi part of it.
Yeah. And these teenagers are fucking
horrible
assholes. Like, they're so Jesus.
They're the worst kind of people.
I was like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all are awful. I
mean,
can't even believe half the, like, I was just sitting there like, what? How can you just like be okay doing that to someone? And I know people do this.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's like some pretty bad bullying out there.
There is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I feel bad that like anybody would have to endure that.
Yeah, it's wild. But basically, we open up and we have a nice little volleyball scene happening.
Playing volleyball.
They look like they're really bad at it.
Yeah. And they're giving Carrie shit.
Yeah, they're like, toss it to Carrie. She won't get it.
Then why are you gonna toss it to her? They're basically setting her up.
Yeah. And then, well, there was like people on the sideline too. And then whenever they walked off, the girls were like, I knew we'd never win with you on our team. And it was like, well, then why didn't you pick the other bitches? Like,
don't know.
What the fuck?
Because I guess everybody's
maybe
coach
the gym
makes everybody
coach,
participate, and they have to rotate out. But yeah.
Oh, they probably do rotate out the side. Yeah.
And they
she was in the servant spot too.
Yeah, because that's what. Yeah, if I remember correctly, in volleyball you rotate and you take turns, which I didn't like volleyball. I played it like in middle school.
My favorite anime.
Oh yeah, Haiku
is a volleyball anime. Haiku. Yes, they just got announced for.
More
they were
episodes?
supposed to give us a fucking season 5, and they announced 2 movies.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah, but that's going to be all of it. I don't know how they're supposed to fit the rest of the
storyline.
Into it. I'm like, I don't understand how it's going to happen.
How many episodes are in each season?
Typically around 24 to 26. Except for season 3, there was only 13 episodes because it was only one match. They're about 25 minutes long.
Cute.
Anyways, sorry, this is a tag. This is now a anime podcast.
And so
welcome.
We have them telling Carrie to eat shit, which is not nice. And
it's like also it's just a fucking practice game.
It is.
Like,
it's a little scrimmage.
It's for class.
It's not even anything. I don't even think they have like a where they go by season and like play other schools. It just seems like they're literally just it's PE gym. Yeah. And so then we have a title sequence where we get the name Carrie, and it's basically all the girls in the locker room, and we got a lot of shots of like boobies and vaginas.
And all of them running around willy-nilly. I was like,
and that was the director's choice and also like the composer's choice to like make the music sound so kind of like
wistful.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I don't know. I got me like, I was like, these are supposed to be teenagers, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are.
And so I was like, I don't know if like this is supposed to be artful and tasteful or like, isn't this like crossing a line? Because they're supposed to be teenage girls,
Child
like underage,
pornography.
literally. So I was like, So it was really kind of a moment where I was like, or is it us? Like, are we the problem? Because is it our gaze upon them that then makes it like sexualizes it? Because they're just truly just naked.
Yeah.
But
also,
the way they're directed in movement and the way that the music makes it sound
is like boobies flop. It was like in slow motion, so you could really see it.
And I noticed as well, and I thought it was particular that as they were panning through the whole locker room, they filmed certain like, I felt like a certain type of girl naked, and then there was a girl who was like a little bit more fuller in the middle, and they had her like all the way tied up in a towel. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty peculiar. Like, why? And she was sitting down, and like side profile would have been in full view. So I'm just like, why not allow her to be naked as well? Yeah, it gave me very much.
It was definitely a time where a very specific body type was idolized.
Yeah.
So. It
gave problematic for me.
It is
just a little bit, but not enough to cancel it.
And it's a little like, there was a lot of talk on this film. Some people saying that it's very like, it can be very empowering for women, but then there's also like, no, this is misogynistic as fuck. I don't know where I stand on the line. I don't really get the like girl power thing because these girls were not nice. And I felt like it was a very awful portrayal of women, in all honesty.
I can
like
see what
you've got the super religious mother, you've got the one who ends up murdering everyone accidentally, purposefully,
but was also portrayed as kind of like a pariah and like a recluse or like someone who just didn't fit in, a freak. And then you have all the mean girls.
Yeah, mean girls. It definitely was. And there was one part.
You have Coach. Coach honestly was a decent human being.
Yeah, she was. Kind of. There were a few times where I was like, girl, what's your motive? What are you doing?
For real.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And then there was that one part at the scene where the girl goes at the prom and she was like, you can sit with us. And I was like, oh, this is the opposite of Mean Girls now.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I felt like she was being sarcastic. I don't know. I never felt like her intentions were very genuine.
True.
But we will see as we go on.
We will.
So we have all these BooBaes. We have.
I put Josh must be dying right now.
I put gross.
Yeah.
I literally have gross, but not in a
Mine
like.
is,
I'm like not in a like trying to
You hate.
disrespectful way. Respectfully,
It's just not what you're attracted to.
But also beautiful bodies, beautiful boobies. They were,
I would give all those boobies some solid 10s.
Beautiful boobies.
Solid 5 boobs.
But then I was like, because then it goes
A
to
little
Carrie in the
5
shower.
Can you imagine 5 boobs on a person?
Literally.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what would you even call that? BooBaes?
I like the way that I went out instead of like on my abdominal. I was like,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait.
It's like
It would
isn't
be like-
someone in
like a
Futurama
cat.
have multiple breasts? Doesn't the
Someone
one girl,
does.
doesn't she have 3?
Someone has 3.
I don't know.
Possibly. I'm not sure.
Don't quote me.
Okay. So, and then we have, it comes into Carrie and I'm like, my note is like, oh, we got pasty Carrie over here. Like, I'm sorry. She was a little pale.
Oh yeah, and then
a little pale Carrie.
I just put, oh girl, don't put that bar soap on your face.
Well, she's rubbing that bar soap all over her. Like she's
I was
having
like, that's gonna be
a sexual awakening.
Yeah.
One.
I feel like a million teenage boys jacked off to this in 76.
Probably.
Because it was so sensual.
Mm-hmm. And
like,
the music.
And the way that like just where she was rubbing it, and it was like just out of view. And then like the shot between her thighs before the blood starts happening.
And then like her facial expressions.
Yeah,
she
looked like she was going to have a fucking orgasm.
Yeah.
There was another part, like when the mom was dying, I was like, is this bitch having an orgasm?
With the knives in her?
Yeah. She was like, I'm not going to do it.
Well, that was apparently the director's choice or something. Apparently, a lot of his other previous films had like...
I was like, maybe all of her tension.
Erotica, like kind of more very erotic in a way. He would work that into his films.
Yeah. I felt like all of her not having had sex after that moment like released, and she just was
probably
like, oh, my tension. And then the getting stabbed was like euphoric.
She was a masochist.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she
we had
play.
That actress actually who played the mom. Whenever she watched it, Piper Laurie, she didn't really care for it.
She didn't care for the movie?
No, she was like, she literally was quoted as saying like, well, when I watched it, I just didn't really know what I was watching.
It's pretty fucking clear what you're watching.
I feel like she meant that in a sense of like she didn't respect it. Like it just seemed like this seems like.
Well, she looks like a very plain woman, so maybe that's exactly how she's supposed to be portrayed.
And then we had her. Yeah, as you said, she's washing herself and she's got blood coming down.
That's
she's
also
going through
some intense period blood.
A menstrual cycle. Apparently, it's her first one, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
No, first one. I felt like mine was pretty. Well, okay, everyone could start differently.
Mm-hmm.
If it happens to me when I'm asleep, yeah, I could totally like turn a massacre into the
bed sheets.
So yeah, I don't know. Like whenever I first start though, normalized periods are fucking normal. It's like a lighter flow, and most of the time it's kind of like it's not that. I mean, maybe she already had a little bit of like the brown like. Well, she hadn't had any previous blood.
Yeah,
so,
no, she wasn't spotting or anything. Kind of just came out of nowhere. And she also...
Which sometimes maybe she had a little clot.
Wasn't expecting it.
And she lifted that leg up and her cervix went...
That's fun. Especially in front of everybody. Poor girl.
Yeah.
So she's experiencing this. And we obviously... you can tell that she didn't know that this was going to happen. She's never had one before.
She... never knew they were a thing.
Existed. Yeah, she probably thinks she's dying.
Yeah, and she did. That's what they basically said was like, she had no clue that that was a thing. Which I'm like, so how did you get through school without a
sex
health
talk
class?
I don't know. It was also this 76, so maybe it wasn't talked about as much. I mean, it's not like it's talked about that much today, I feel like.
True, but I remember, like, I have vivid memories of in 5th grade being sat down in like a weird little room with all the girls. They pulled all the girls and I had to watch this movie, and they gave us like each a tampon and a pad, or I think they gave us a pad. And they were like, this is what, and this is why it'll happen. And then
really?
Like, also, I mean, to be starting in high school is like super late.
Yeah.
Really,
and that's what they were talking about too. They were mentioning it, that
it's
how
not
could she have
too
not
abnormal, but like I started in the 5th grade.
Does that also, it kind of gives me a thought into like nature versus nurture, because she was so sheltered and treated like a child by her mother,
that maybe her body was
and
like,
her
I am
body
still a
hadn't
baby.
reacted literally
Yeah.
until it was like, oh, we can't hold this back anymore, bitch, we're about to blow. Literally. And it did. And it did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe
why it was a volcanic eruption.
And that's why I also kind of
Niagara
feel like,
Falls.
and she's also psychic, so maybe she was just like that stuff out with her mind. But that's why I felt like, because she was treated like that, and she kind of was very much so like what's like the maturity level, I feel like she was behind her peers because of how sheltered her mom made her. So that's why I think it started late for her as well. And so we have that happening. Unfortunately, she runs out with the blood on her and starts not chasing, but she's asking and begging for help, pleading for help because she thinks she's dying. And she gets it on some of the girls, and the girls then are just like start getting tampons and I guess pads.
Yeah, they like open like a whole fucking like those little silver boxes that are in females' restrooms a lot, and they're just throwing pads at her, and they're yelling, "Plug it up, plug it up, plug it up!" And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's just abuse pretty much at that point. But
and I don't understand how I'm sorry, but the teacher lady, how did she not notice that was happening?
For a while. And then it's still like trying to fight through the crowd of girls, and they're like, what are y'all even doing? I think she can't be that short. She could have seen what was happening. But
yeah. And then the way that literally none of those kids like respected her, which is true. That is like how some students are and stuff. But I mean, that shit would never fly with me. Yeah. And not a single one of my kids would disrespect me that way. Yeah. And so I don't know. Like,
I feel like eventually they did, and I feel like, I don't know. Yeah,
they eventually listen, but I don't understand how they can even get that riled up to where it's just beyond me.
Because
I was always like so afraid
that's
of
the way it was written
being
in the novel,
mean and stuff.
Yeah.
And so
you're not a mean person.
Yeah,
these are mean people.
That's true.
You have to remember, these are mean people. These are not us.
Very mean
They don't
people.
think the way we do. So yeah, we wouldn't do any of that. But yes,
0 booze for them.
And so
Negative
we
booze.
have a mob throwing all this at her. She's freaking out, and then Coach, I forget what the Coach Collins.
Oh yeah,
Collins?
I just put gym lady.
Yeah, Coach Collins.
Whole time.
She goes up to Carrie, and she's like basically trying to figure out what's going on. Then she sees like, it's her period, but she also doesn't really necessarily get why she's freaking out so much. She then understands that, she doesn't know what's happening to herself.
Yeah. It is Coach Collins.
And so then she ends up making all the girls, well, not before she slaps Carrie to get her to like come out of her freak out.
Yeah,
basically.
to kind of bring her back to
reality.
But
didn't really like do too much.
Solid way to go about it. Definitely wouldn't fly today.
But it's different. Yeah, I was about to say it's 1976.
Yeah. Do you have we talked about this on here?
I don't know. What?
Do you remember having to take home a form?
Yeah, the permission
so they could like
paddle you or not.
Yeah. And then but then there's like some schools, like Andrew was like, I've never heard of that, and I was like, oh, I
remember that at least all the way up to like the 7th, 8th grade. Like
I always had a little form for is it corporal punishment?
Yeah, corporal punishment.
Corporal?
Yes. And they would sign it either yes or no. And I mean, mine always signed no, I think. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like my mama was like, yeah,
do it. But I never
beat the shit out of her.
I never got in trouble, so I never had to like do any of that. Yeah. I never, anyways. And so we have, what happens? Oh yeah, we have Coach Collins talking to Carrie, and she's trying to explain what's happening here while the girls are out of the room. I forgot a major plot point, didn't I?
Oh, the light explodes.
Literally. So or is it right after she slaps her, or is it during when she slaps her?
I think it's like right after.
After she slaps her, Carrie, because there's like this like it's like almost like the Bates. It's like whatchamacallit, that noise that happens every time she uses her psychic power. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a dolphin.
But it's very close. there's that noise sound that makes anytime she uses her psychic abilities, and the light pops out, and then all the girls are like, whoa, and then the teacher's like, whoa, and then even Carrie's like, whoa. Yeah. And so we have Carrie getting explained by Miss Collins that like this is natural or something to like gather herself, clean herself up. And then after that we get conversation between the coach and the principal. Yeah. And they're in the office and they're discussing they're discussing what happened to her, and he keeps not mispronouncing but keep calling her by the wrong name. Cassie Wright. And her name's Carrie White. And
she literally, Miss Collins is like Carrie.
Yeah. And
Carrie. She says it twice to him.
And then he still calls her the wrong name. And then they're trying to send her home and he calls her the wrong name again. And then we have another moment where she uses her E powers and the ashtray just flips.
It flies. You can see the whole time she's like pretty unnerved. And it's kind of like wiggling around on the table. And then she had already corrected him once saying it's Carrie. And then like Carrie herself did. And then once it flew, she just yells, "It's Carrie!" and runs out.
Literally,
so
I was
dramatic.
like, creepy Carrie.
Loved it.
For real. Because then right after this, she's walking down on the little sidewalk and we have this boy who like goes by her on the freaking bike. I guess is he throwing newspapers out?
I don't know. He was definitely weaving through the trees. He was trying to go in between each tree.
He wasn't doing shit.
And then he turned back around and he was like, "Creepy Carrie, creepy Carrie." And then she makes him fall, and I was like, "LOL, eat shit, little kid."
She does, and the way he looks back at her, and then she just storms off. She has that storming off pretty good.
Laughed.
She then we have a scene where her mom comes over to Sue, which we saw
Snail
earlier, who was throwing some of the tampons, Miss Snail's house, and it's what's her name? I forget her name.
Her mom?
Yeah.
Oh, Miss
Mrs. White.
Miss White, that's what I call her.
Sure. She said her name. I forgot.
Margaret.
There we go. Margaret. And so she's basically there on the Lord's behalf, and she's trying to spread the gospel of Jesus to them, and like, she's just trying to read her some Bible verses.
She looks like a witch.
She really does look like a witch, not a Christian.
No. Yeah. She gave full on witch vibes. I was like, girl, miss, you are a witch. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the Miss Snell tries to buy her off, or not buy her off, but is like basically just like, here's some money to donate, and because she wants her to leave, and that's whenever.
I like how Miss Snell said, I don't remember what Miss White said, but Miss Snell was like, "I'll drink to that," and then she was like, "Ooh,
we'll read these definitely."
Yeah. That made me laugh a lot.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, well, she's funny."
I liked her too.
But yeah, she tried to pay her off, and then.
She took the money.
Yeah, Miss White, like she looked so upset, but then she was like, "Yeah, give me that money still."
For real.
And then whenever she leaves, she's like, "I pray you find Jesus," and her arms are all up in the air.
That was a great impression.
And I was like, "Ew."
Yeah, she's a Bible thumper. She's a little heavy-handed with it, and
a little.
Yeah, she's very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Sorry, because then we get to their house, which also has a for sale sign in front of it, and I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a for sale sign. And we get in.
I like that house though.
The house
I wish I could
very
clean it up and make it pretty. It had
put
good
dolls
bones.
all inside of it.
Instead of the Last Supper.
Oh,
is that what it's called?
Side note: when I went to your apartment to like let the kitties like check on them. One of the doll's arms was on the floor.
Yeah, Annabelle's arm is on the floor
all the way across the room, and I thought, I didn't know if it was the cats, which I would assume pretty like 75% sure it was like probably the kitties were messing around and it got over here. But then I was like, I don't want to pick it up. I don't want to touch it.
That's fair. I was like, I wonder when this got there. And I figured none of y'all would touch it.
So it was there on Wednesday. So
Annabelle's arm is actually across. It's over there next to Beatrice, with like on that other table by my front door, because she only has one arm.
Gotcha.
And it was removed when I got her, so I just use it as decoration too. Yeah. But I was like,
that explains why it was
like,
so close to that part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was like, if you're gonna mess with any of the dolls, please not Annabelle and Lorraine. Because they're the ones that I feel would kill us. Yeah. Poor Beatrice has been knocked over so many times.
But it kind of freaked me out.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
I was like, I'm not going to touch it. I was like, the cats can put it back.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine.
And so it was the kitties were so cute too, the way they were playing around when the little fuzzy thing that I was throwing around.
Loved those.
And we're at the house. There's like candles everywhere. There's Jesus stuff. Like the Last Supper is right above their dining room table.
Oh, it is the Last Supper. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the school calls. And they were getting informed, or she's getting informed about what happened at the school earlier today. And then Carrie's trying to eavesdrop, and she's like, "I know you're listening."
perched.
And she asked her to come down, and she's like, "You're a woman now."
She's silent and then like turns around while saying it. You're a woman now, and it's like the most dramatic.
It really is. And at this point, she
Ew.
slaps her or like hits her down. She makes her go down to the floor, and
she brings out the book, The Sins of Woman.
Literally.
And I was like, ugh.
And at this point, mom's a whack job. Total whack job. She's
like
very
the curse
abusive.
of blood.
She's abusive.
Super abusive.
Yeah.
Poor Carrie's getting slapped around today, and she just started her first period.
She's saying
That's
because
so traumatic.
she had impure thoughts or something that she brought this upon
it
her.
on.
Yeah, and so it's the curse of all women to whatever.
Saying if she had remained sinless, it wouldn't have come. Yep, and it's the first sin was intercourse.
Yep.
And I was like, wasn't it supposed to be Eve eating from the tree?
She said Eve was weak and ate from the tree and something like that. And that
did the snake go in her?
You know it did.
You know the devil's got a giant dick.
Probably.
I would go for it too.
And a vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got both. They got both.
Honestly, it's an angel.
True.
Yeah. He's an angel.
They.
Lucifer. They not. Yeah. We should ask the devil's pronouns.
Because we got Lilith too. Who knows? She could have been in on it.
She ends up putting Carrie in the closet.
In the closet.
Carrie's closet, but it's not just any closet. It's a closet with like a bunch of like.
Got a creepy fucking
Christian.
Jesus that looks like he could have been in Aerosmith.
It's actually a saint. It's Saint Sebastian that has arrows in it. It's not a Jesus technically. But it's also very scary. I don't either, but I looked it up.
Okay.
But it's also
I just call it creepy
scary
Jesus
because they like the way the eyes are painted. And I'm probably pretty sure that it was.
My note says Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus looks creepy.
Made like that on purpose, so that way it can look
like
creepy
it's
and
watching
terrifying.
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so poor Carrie is in there. God knows how long. And her mom is sewing something, and then we finally have a moment where Carrie gets out. I'm sure she like went in and locked in at a certain point, and Carrie's like. Probably been in there scared to come out.
Yeah. Oh, I would have been.
And then was just like, okay, I'm going to come out now because I can probably just go to bed. Then the mom is like, okay, go to bed. Yeah.
It's the way that when she comes out too, she's like, thank you, mama. And it's like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
Literally my notes all that like in so many parts. It's just ew.
It gives very,
it gives me the ick.
Like groomed and just abusive.
RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back, it's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Imagine you've booked a dazzling vacation home perfect for your honeymoon.
Nice.
The house has it all. A pool, a spectacular view, and also the weird owner who lives behind a locked door in the hallway.
Hello! I can assure you I shan't be watching you during your stay, so why even bring it up?
Nope. We're leaving.
When you'd like a romantic vacation getaway instead of having to get away from your vacation, it matters where you stay. At Hilton, you can expect accommodations that meet your expectations. Hilton for the stay.
And so Carrie goes upstairs and she's in her bedroom and she's so angry and upset over everything that's happened, obviously, because she's being fucking abused.
Yeah.
And she's then the mirror, we get this like scene where the mirror is like going, what's the word, Caitlin?
Concaving.
Concaving in and out.
It's
like,
breathing.
It looks like whenever you get like one of those flimsy mirrors and you like shake it and it like does that thing. It's like a funhouse mirror basically because she's moving it with her mind, expanding it and contracting it, and then finally it shatters.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
The music was kind of silly during that, but I really liked that scene and the way that it looked and stuff. I was like, ooh. Yeah, that was good. Even like for 76 and stuff, like
the practical effects.
That's super impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it,
and
because it looked pretty damn believable.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it's a little
staged, but I get what you mean. It looked like she did it with her mind. Yeah, and so we have the mom obviously hears it, Miss White, so she comes up and she's checking on her, and Carrie acts like she's praying, and then her mom is just like, okay, whatever, we'll go to bed. Yeah, and after that, did you notice that there was like a picture of Jesus like just looking over her bed? Yeah. Like,
not a fan.
Yeah, me either. That's scary.
If Carrie would have lived into adulthood, she also would have prayed after masturbating.
Probably, yeah.
I did.
The
sometimes
guilt.
Still feel guilty.
The guilt after masturbating, it's real. Mm-hmm. So we have
Jesus is always watching her
at all times.
That's
literally
creepy.
Not figuratively.
This is your bed. That's where I'm surprised there wasn't one over the bathtub.
It should have been a mirror, not Jesus.
Yeah.
And so we have the next day, we're at school, and this teacher, I don't know his name, he's reading a poem by Mr. Tommy.
His name's Asshole.
He's reading a poem by Tommy.
Fucking ass.
And he is reading it aloud to class and asks the class for criticism. And though nobody really says anything, but Miss Carrie says it's beautiful, and then he makes kind of a mockery of her, calling it beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, fuck you, dude.
Well,
where the hell do you get off?
Basically, Tommy does say that because he's like, you're an ass or something like that.
Yeah, he says something. I feel like it's shit.
Yeah, because then
I think he said eat shit.
No, he said something else because then he made it sound like
aw shucks.
Aw shucks. You suck. He said you suck. He said you suck. Yeah.
Much more PG than our version. I would have been like, eat shit, motherfucker.
Eat shit was said earlier in the film.
That's true. It said a lot.
You eat shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so the teacher's kind of making a mockery of her, and Tommy kind of stands up for her. But anyways, that scene is just kind of building up to build kind of like a relationship between Tommy and her.
Yeah.
In a sense.
And it gives the main reason as to why he would want to ask her to prom.
Which is not the reason, but
yeah.
And so, anyways, the next I guess period or for them segues to Coach with the girls, and she is on their asses.
And there's fucking graffiti on the wall that's saying like Carrie White
something. I think it says eat shit.
I think it does say eat shit. Eat shit, Carrie White.
Literally, and we have the girls sitting on the bleachers.
Their favorite thing to do is
Coach Collins is making them line up, and she gives them
the talking to of a lifetime.
She tells them she is not happy. What they did to Miss Carrie was
do any of you stop to think? I love that.
She says, "Do you know?" Yeah, because she says, "Did any of y'all stop to think what that would do to her? Do any of y'all stop to think at all?" Basically,
yeah.
And then did
you ever think for 1 second that Carrie White has feelings too?
That's exactly what she said, word for word. And so we have her then saying to them that if they don't do detention with her, which is basically going to be like very rigorous athletics for like a week, that they will get suspended.
3 days suspension and refusal of your prom tickets was her idea.
Yeah.
But then they were like, that's a little too harsh.
Yeah.
Because it's all the popular kids, of course.
And so the kids are, the girls are obviously upset and pissed off. No one more than Chris, which is like, such a bitch.
Get your head out of your ass. Like, fucking calm down.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
And so she's basically,
you're lucky you're not in jail.
Telling everybody
I would have put her in jail.
That if they all band together, they can't do this to them, but nobody is going to take that risk. They're all like, whatever, just do what you got to do. Especially Sue, who you can tell is already feeling pretty bad about what happened to Carrie. She's the only one that seems to be remorseful about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And then after that, or during that, we have all of the girls just going through this like
super long workout punishment.
Yeah,
scene.
Which actually intertwines with Carrie learning about her abilities because she's looking at a Rolodex and she's in the library.
She's looking up books on miracles, and then that's where she finds the secret science behind miracles, and then gets her telekinesis definition. But yeah, that's where basically Sue's like, she literally tells Chris to like shut up.
Yeah.
You're being a fucking bitch. And it's like, oh, good. I thought it'd been so long since I've seen this movie. I thought that that's why she had made Tommy ask her to prom. And then it turns out Sue had no clue. She was legit just trying to be nice and like give Carrie an opportunity to go to prom and feel pretty and stuff. And then it just really sucks that it turned out that way. And I think Tommy legit was having a great time with her.
Oh yeah.
And also Carrie was the hottest fucking bitch at that whole prom.
He seemed like a really decent person.
Yeah. I know, he was so sweet. And I was like, but I couldn't remember if he was being if this was all staged or not. And then he's dead.
Yeah.
He died from that
From the
paint bucket
bucket,
in his head.
It probably hit him in the right
Billy
spot.
Mays died on that airplane or whatever from like luggage falling.
Really?
Right? Isn't that how Billy Mays died? Yeah. Yeah. Like luggage shifted during turbulence and it fell out. Oh, plus cocaine.
That's a mixture. It'll do it to you.
Hey, maybe Tommy had some cocaine too.
And so we have the scene back with the girls, and Chris has had enough. She's basically, she stops doing the high knees or whatever they're running in place.
Yeah,
and she walks up to the coach and she's like, "You can't make us all do this." And then that's whenever the coach slaps her.
And she's like, "You can't hit us. You'll get bagged for this.
You'll get canned." And then yeah, she storms off basically, and the coach is just like, "Okay, well, if you want to do that, you're not going to prom." And she is not going to prom because she stormed off.
That's true.
Yep. And so right after that, we have Carrie looking up some more stuff, but the main part after that is that we have Sue going to Tommy, and she tells him her plan that she wants him to take Miss Carrie White to the prom. She's like, "Will you do this very special thing for me?" And I bet you he thought he was thinking, "Oh yeah,
I'm about to get it. I get to put it in her."
But no, she wants him to take Carrie to prom.
Oh, that's so sad. And he had just been told he was going to like nationals for I don't know what.
Some sport. I don't know.
Running. But it was like,
track.
Damn, and he didn't get to do that. R.I.P.
Dead.
R.I.P. Tommy.
Right after that, we get Chris, and she's with her boyfriend, and it's none other than
Billy Nolan or John Travolta as Billy Nolan.
Mr. John Travolta.
And his first feature-length film.
I was really surprised because I didn't remember him being in this. I was like, "Oh, John Travolta."
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, hello."
And then I was like, huh.
He
I was
looks so
reading
young.
some facts before it, and it was like, John Travolta's first feature-length film. And I was like, John Travolta, what? And then I was like, oh, damn, he's got a like major role in this
A very
film.
major role. Yeah, he's in a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
And so he plays her boyfriend, and they go to oh yeah, they're drinking and driving. He's
literally
driving,
drinking and driving.
Drinking and driving. A cop pulls up. He kind of has to like throw it down, and he ends up accidentally getting some on Chris. And they have this like she calls him a stupid shit. And she keeps calling it. The third time is a lucky charm because he then slaps her.
Yep.
But he kind of told her like, don't call me that.
Like, and
she kept doing it, so he did it. But that's not justified.
I mean, he was being a stupid shit.
He was though.
He was drinking and driving, and then he wasn't even looking at the road. He was staring at her titties when he wasn't looking out the window, talking to all the random people driving by.
She's like, "Are you trying to kill us or something like that?"
Yeah, because while they're arguing and stuff, they almost, I guess he swerves and goes into oncoming traffic. Ugh.
And so, they end up going to somewhere. I don't know what it was. Do you know what it was?
It was some sort of party. It looked like it was at a motel.
I don't know.
It was a party, though.
She asked him to wait in the car, and they're like, I don't know what she's doing. She's really crazy, to be honest. She's psychotic.
Oh, this relationship is toxic as fuck.
And I don't even know, though, because, like, it felt, well, yeah, he's toxic, but...
both of them.
Yeah.
They were both being so awful.
Yeah. But she also gave, like, almost, like, unstable, if that makes sense. The way she was, like...
Well, she starts sucking on his fingers, and then he's like... Okay, we're doing this.
But then she like pushes him off.
Yeah.
And then she does it again and then pushes him off. And then
she's like,
pushes
"You're
him
so
off.
ignorant." And I was like,
it was so
you
weird.
were sucking his fingers. That's a little bit more than just a kiss.
There's a lot of mixed signals.
Sucking fingers is like,
go to town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the way that she fucking goes down on him afterwards.
Oh, I didn't get it. How does she keep saying his name?
But how the fuck is she saying Billy while his dick is in her mouth?
I didn't get it.
I was like, bitch,
it's hilarious.
was she just like, maybe her head was just down there and she was just
It
doing
literally
this.
was like,
I
how
don't
is
know.
she sucking him off and saying his name at the
Sing
same
Billy
time?
so much, and then she's like, I hate Carrie White.
And he's like, who? Oh man, it was a very funny scene. I was like, oh wow.
I was
It
dying.
was pretty hilarious. I was
like,
dying as well.
How is this bitch sucking dick? Also, she's thinking about
Carrie White
That's
and how much she
that's
hates
some
her.
lesbian shit.
And how much she hates her, actually.
I'm just kidding. Red ball cap girl's lesbian. Whenever she had her red ball cap on, Norma at the prom, I said, that's a lesbian if I've ever seen one.
She 2 years later, she's in Halloween.
Oh.
She's in Laurie Strode's friend
Oh.
who ends up getting killed in the bed when she's having sex with that one dude. And then after.
That's the same girl?
That's the same girl. The blonde girl who was naked.
Damn. She looked a lot better in that movie. She looks
it's the
terrible as an
stylistic-
adult. I'm sorry. Is she still alive?
She's still alive.
Fuck. She's going to listen to this, you know?
Yeah, you know. Well, apparently when we mention famous people on our podcast,
right.
Yeah.
They die.
R.I.P. A couple episodes ago, we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, which had actress Anne Heche. And so just R.I.P. to her.
It was...
Unfortunately, we lost a good actress there.
Yeah. And we were like laughing because we were uncomfortable, though. It wasn't like, obviously, we weren't poking fun at her getting in a car accident.
Yeah.
You've been in so many.
I
You
have.
related.
I do relate.
Please
On a
don't
very
get in anymore.
PTSD. I still have like unfortunate, like whenever I'm driving, I like get like little like, what's the word? Like little anxiety moments.
Yeah.
Like flashbacks.
1000%.
Not even a flashback. It's like, no, I can just very distinctly remember that feeling of whenever you first impact something and like that feeling and like the sound, the smell, the like everything about it. And so I just get that sometimes and I like kind of tense up and then I have to like be like, oh, I'm okay. It's all right.
I'm not. Accident. Yeah. Well, please. Yeah. Let's not get in anymore.
Yeah. And so we have, what happens? Where we? Oh yeah, she's. This has all happened.
White,
she tells him she hates Carrie White. I put after this, Tommy asks Carrie to the prom at school in the library,
And she
and
just fucking runs away.
she runs away because obviously she thinks it's like a joke. And
Yeah,
so
I would have too.
The coach finds her and she ends up talking to her and she's trying to tell her that she needs to like get out of her own way and stop being mopey.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of the stuff she was
like,
telling her
"That's
was
so great."
like, it didn't sound as nice as she probably thought it was supposed to sound.
Yeah, because she was like,
She's almost insulting her in a way.
yeah, because she was giving her like a confidence boost. She was like, "You're beautiful" and stuff. And then she was like, "Look at your like eyes, just a little mascara and your lips. Try some lipstick and like,
Yeah.
everything." It was just
Put
like,
a little curl in your hair,
yeah.
like this and that.
And
Yeah.
it was like, girl, it's like she's giving her a confidence boost, but also saying makeup is what she needs. So I was like,
But it's
I
also
put
76.
that emoji.
It's 76, you know, that's just standards, beauty standards. And like also, you know, what I feel like women in that time also felt like they had to think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it definitely
did.
was the time. And even here though too, Carrie mentions how she thinks that they're just trying to trick her and make fun of her, and it's like, yeah, because they
and
are.
the coach is like, no, he could be genuine, but then literally cut to the next scene and the coach is like, what the fuck are y'all
did you
doing?
ask her out?
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, why? And because she knows something. Well, technically something isn't up, but also too, this is from the get-go a horrible idea. Because
Yeah.
why would you give someone a false, like, he is her boyfriend. And she's obviously like gonna have a crush
I
on
was
him. But
so
then like, I was like,
confused, like,
why
when
not
they were
find
kissing.
me too. And I was like, why not find a friend? Y'all are popular enough to find a friend that didn't have a date and him ask her. Like, it just
that
made
weird
no
tuxedo
sense.
shirt guy.
It just made no sense.
He was pretty weird.
I
They
think
would have gotten along great.
Yeah, honestly.
He was taking photos the whole time.
Literally. I was just like, this is, but you know what? We got to have
But
a
Carrie
movie.
deserved the looks of Tommy.
Oh.
They looked so cute as a couple.
She was, yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, Sue, move over.
Well, because, and she also looked different from the other girls in a way.
I'm not like other girls.
I don't know what it
I'm
was,
worse.
but she did. She's the villain. And so then we have her. Oh yeah, she's talking to the two students. She was trying to explain that she's just trying to do like a good deed, and she.
Which this whole time I was like, the bitch lying, but it's true, she wasn't, and she was.
She's just trying to do a good deed. Tommy kind of really isn't that down for it, but then he's like, also like, he's like, well, I don't really have a choice, so because he was really making him do it.
And it's the way that the teacher goes, just think of how ridiculous
It would look for you to walk in with Carrie.
Ridiculous, yeah, for you to look walking in with Carrie. And I was like, bitch, you just said she was pretty.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But I think she also means, in a sense, like, everybody
Of
knows
their
that
social
Sue
standing,
and her boyfriend and girlfriend. So, like, why would that even, like...
Yeah.
I get what she means. I don't feel like she's trying to be
Can't go to prom without a date?
Yeah.
That was weird.
I think that's a thing back then. You couldn't go without a Mrs. or Mr. Kind of like, you had to go with the date.
Oh, I did go with the date, but I didn't.
I mean, yeah. It was...
I didn't dance with...
76. So I feel like that was a lot of the norm back then. And so... we have that sucks. That's so sad. But anyways, we have
that they couldn't go to prom
that they couldn't go without a date.
I was like, I know so many
and I know
friends
that also
who've done
too at that point the girls weren't asking the guys were asking the girls. So if you just didn't get asked out, then like that sucks.
That sucks.
And you probably get like made fun of or something. And
I asked a boy to prom because my boyfriend broke up with me like 3 weeks before because he was cheating on me. So I asked his best friend.
Nice.
I was like, bitch, sit down. And his best friend was like, he fucking sucks.
I'll go with you.
I'll go with you.
That's funny.
It was funny. And then he texted me while I was
Make
there.
him eat shit.
The ex-boyfriend was like, you look beautiful. And I was like, bitch, I know.
I
You're
already
here with
know.
the gremlin.
And so then
the
next right after that, Tommy goes to ask Carrie out again to the prom, and he shows up at her house this time, and she's obviously like, "What the crap are you doing here?"
At that point, I was like, "Oh fuck, don't go to her house, dude." I thought the mom was gonna answer the door.
Same.
I was like, "Oh no."
Thankfully, it was Carrie,
because I was like, her mom's gonna go murder Carrie if she sees that,
and then because she's gonna think all types of things, and then Carrie ends up talking to him. He won't let her like shut the door until she agrees to go to the prom. So she eventually caves and agrees to go with him.
And because she
at
keeps
that
asking
point,
him,
like, why? And he tells her that
it's because I liked you, because you liked my poem. And he goes, which I didn't even write, but I think that was later.
Yeah,
he says that one later. But
I knew from the get-go he did not write that.
Oh, well, even I think the teacher did too, because he was like, this is very different from your normal stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that don't sound like it's coming out of. I just met Tommy right now with you showing his face, and I already knew he didn't write that.
And so then we have cutting to the scene of Miss John Travolta, which I only referred to him as John, and it's Chris, and they're with a couple other friends, and they're going to a pig farm because they're going to slaughter a pig to get some blood for their joke that they're going to be putting on. And
it's the way they're like, so outside of this pig farm, there's like this fence, and there's all these like, it's like a mural of little piggies and stuff, which is like, it's cute. And they were like, why did they paint all these fucking pigs? And then one guy was like, I went out with the girl that posed for this painting. And I was like, motherfucker, like y'all are
chauvinistic. Yeah.
God.
But yeah, put yourself in 76, Caitlin.
I can't.
Actually, don't. You're going to get pissed off even more.
I'm going to punch them all.
All right. And so after this, we have a storm going on, and we have Carrie and her mom sitting at the table. They're trying to enjoy some pie or something.
They're just crazy. I'm sorry.
What
while
happened?
they killed the piggies.
Yeah.
And whenever fucking Chris is just sitting there like, do it. Like, she looked ecstatic.
She was happy
that he was like,
she's crazy,
bludgeoning a pig to death.
She's psychotic.
Yes,
she's psychotic. There's issues that stem deeper than we just getting to know her now. There are some issues of like, she witnessed her murder when she was like 3. It was her dad. She loves it now secretly. She's also like got some DID issues going on there, some disassociative, because she's like flipping between.
She is
some craziness and trying to be normal.
Yeah.
I
was like, she's just always a bitch.
There's something happening.
Anyways.
And so there's a storm. We have them eating at the table. Carrie is not touching her pie.
This is my favorite. Yeah, her mom's like, why aren't you eating your apple cake? And she goes, it gives me pimples. And she says, the pimples are the Lord's way of chastising her.
And so I was some bullshit. Jesus. And so then that's whenever Carrie has the guts and she's telling her, I'm going to go to the prom. I don't want to be like you. I want to be normal. The people think you're funny. I don't want to be funny. I want to like have friends and have a social life. And that's whenever the mom totally fucking freaks out and she throws her drink on her one.
Yeah.
Which like takes out the candlelight out, throws the drink on her. And then
tells her like, you have to pray to be forgiven. And if you go, like, tell him you're not going to go, or we're going to move from here.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe
she's like, the boys.
She's ready to leave at any point with the house being sold.
This literally, the boy, well, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And the boys, she's like, the boys are the root of this. You're
Yeah. Oh,
what did she
I
say?
wanted to like look up this part in the script because I was like, I can't even rewind this right now because the way she delivered it was so amazing. If you haven't seen this movie, watch it for this scene alone and the ending because it's phenomenal. But the way that she was like, they come like sniveling like dogs and they're drawn to the scent, the smell because you've had your first period. And it's basically she's talking as
equating it to like a dog in heat.
Yeah, dog in heat. And it's just so intense the way that she is delivering it. And she's like in her face and the light, everything about the scene was just super good.
And with the storm going on in the background,
It was so intense. Yeah.
Pinch poke, owe me a Coke.
I have this.
Ooh, sake. I did not like it. No. And so we have her. This, and then her mom, Carrie, closes all like the doors, the blinds, or whatever in the house. Yeah. And then her mom is like, "Ooh, the devil's in this house."
She's like, she calls her a witch.
A witch.
And I was like, "Bitch, that's you. Look in the mirror."
Literally. And so then Carrie's like, it's not Satan. It's me. I can move things with my mind.
Yeah, I read about it. It happens to other people.
I read it in a book.
It happens to other people, Mama.
Literally. And she's like, I'm going to go to that prom and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
And then she's like, I think she says something about her dad. And Mama? She goes, he ran away with another woman. He wasn't like, it wasn't nothing about the devil.
Literally. She's like reading her mama down.
I was like, damn, bitch, tell her.
He left your ass.
I would have left her ass too.
Literally. She's crazy. And so they're, why do I have setting up the blood? I don't know what that means.
Because this is, so it cuts to my next note.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I put there setting up blood. And then I put keep your tits on and I'll let you pull the rope.
That's right.
All my
because they're setting the blood up at the school already for the prom that's happening the next night.
That's the only 2 notes I gave myself about that scene.
And so Carrie is making her dress while her mom is like praying essentially on her knees.
And everyone's sitting there asking, what's up with Tommy asking Carrie?
Yeah,
you're getting all this like montage
as they're getting everything ready. And then we have Norma being messy because she like wants to know what Chris has planned, which also, what is Chris doing at school? I thought she's supposed to be suspended.
Yeah.
She's like snuck in. And then the guys are getting ready and we have this little montage of them getting ready, which isn't too important to the movie, but
Tommy's tux was terrible.
It was very terrible.
I hated that.
And then there was this like weird little speed up moment where they talk like that. And I was like, that was weird.
I kind of liked it. It felt very it felt like I was watching a sitcom or like a cartoon. So it was a little out of place, but I was like,
because it only happened one time too. I thought it would happen again, but it just didn't happen.
Random sped up moment.
Yeah.
And also during this part, Carrie's trying on makeup and she looks like she's having the time of her life.
She's having fun.
She looks so excited to be trying on. And then
all
like
the shades.
It's so funny when she puts on one she doesn't like and she's like, and puts it back. It was just so cute.
It's a whole new experience for her.
I was like, oh.
And we have then that's whenever she's getting dressed and she's in her dress and her mom goes up to her and she's like, I can see your dirty pillows.
Yeah.
Everybody can see your dirty pillows.
And what she says first, I feel like is a very iconic line when she goes, I might have known it would be red.
Literally.
And then she goes,
she's
like, it's pink, Mama.
Because it was literally not even, it was like a pink. Very pale shade of pink.
It was borderline white.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was like, what, she called her boobs dirty pillows? That's what I'm only going to refer to my boobs as from here on out.
And I'm like, her mom's losing it at this point because her mom's like, just tell him, I'll answer the door and tell him you're sick and you don't have to go.
And then she said, and we'll take off that dress and then we can burn it together and pray for forgiveness.
And then Carrie is like, no. And she uses her powers and gets her mom, like pushes on her on the bed.
Well, not before her mom starts hurting herself, though. Starts like just screaming and like yanking at her hair and scratching her face. And it's like,
she's great. Oh, that's why I put like the mom is losing it.
Damn. Yeah. And
I would, yeah.
And this is where the mom says, they're all going to laugh at you.
That's right.
Which is
very pivotal.
Yes, big part of the film. And she looks so pretty.
She does.
She does. But yes, then she starts like slamming her mom's body on the bed.
And she's like, you stay here and wait till I'm gone and I'll be back home early, I promise. And she ends up leaving, which is also like,
you didn't have to owe her, you didn't owe her that.
So she's Carrie. She's just trying to have fun. She's still a good girl.
And as Carrie leaves, Mama says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Ooh. So we know mom's going to try to kill Carrie. Anyways, that's in the future. So right now we're going to the prom. I'm going to keep talking like this the rest of the episode. How about that?
Today.
We go to the prom, Mama. I'm gonna go to the prom. And so we have her pulling up with Tommy, and he is telling her, or well, more so, she's like, "Is this a good idea?" She's nervous. He's like, "Don't be nervous." And he's like, "Let's go in, or I'm gonna look real silly dancing by myself," kind of situation.
Yeah, he did say that, and she looks so comfortable around him, like much more so than around the girls and stuff. And when she's talking to him, it feels like a natural, normal conversation. And it's just, I don't know. And it's just sad.
Yeah, it's sad all around.
And she's scared. Yeah, she's scared, nervous to go in. And then she looks prettier than all these bitches.
Because she's in there, and she does. Everybody's kind of looking at them. It's whenever that girl comes up to her and she's like, "You can come sit with us." And they're sitting at a table, and we have her talking to Tommy. And Tommy wants to dance, but she's like, I'm not ready yet. And, and then right after that, we have Miss Collins coming to talk to her at the table.
And this is where I also saw Norma, and I put, "Why the fuck's she wearing her ball cap at prom?" I said, "That's a lesbian if I've ever seen one."
Literally. And she was coming for Miss Carrie, and she had the cap on.
Yeah. I'm like, girl, take your cap off. Maybe the top of her head was bald. We don't know.
Maybe. And so Coach Collins is talking to Carrie, and she's like describing how her prom was. She's asking Carrie how her night is going, and it's pretty cute. Like they're having a really like nice heart to heart.
Asking her if the prom is like magic, even though she said the conversation she had with her boyfriend after they had to walk half a mile in her 3-inch heels because he was captain of the basketball team, 6'7".
Yeah.
And she didn't want to make it awkward when they kissed. So she wore 3-inch heels. And then the car broke down and they had to walk half a mile in those. I would have been like, bitch, carry me.
She loved him. That's what it's given.
And then they had, the conversation was like magic. And I was like, nothing about that night would have been magic for me. I would have like.
Been pieced off.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe he turned it around for her.
Yeah, maybe
she was, and then he was very sweet.
He should have carried her though.
Maybe he did.
Give her a piggyback ride, point. Sir.
And then
actually, you couldn't give a piggyback ride in a dress like that. It'd be he'd have to carry your wedding dress.
And so they're talking, and it's really nice. They're having that heart to heart, and then Tommy comes up. He's like, "What are you doing with my girl?" And then,
because they were hugging. They had a nice little hug,
and they end up. Tommy then he convinces her to go out to the dance floor, which kind of pulls her, but gets her out there, and he's teaching her how to dance. You can tell she's never done it before. And this is whenever they kiss.
She literally looks like an angel, and I was like, she seems so excited. My heart is breaking.
And pale pink, and then they're dancing, and they share a little kiss.
Yeah, I was like,
whoa.
What? He kissed her? Oh, see, I put he's being so sweet to her, but it's all a lie. But it wasn't. He actually was just being sweet.
Like he was being genuine.
Yeah, he didn't know.
And then there's this whole scene. I had to like look at the screen like this because they're spinning for like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, this scene is making me so dizzy. I was thinking of you during it. I was like, Josh must be throwing up.
I had to like literally not look at it, and then I was like,
wasn't looking at it either. Yeah, I was just listening to the dialogue.
It was way too much.
After a bit, I was like, I can't handle this.
So they're spinning around, they're spinning, they're still spinning, and then after that, we get the voting for the queen and king.
And she tells her you're beautiful, and like because all throughout that whole scene, she's asking like, why am I here? Why am I here with you? And he said, like, we're here together, and that's what matters. And he's like, it's because she likes it. I like it. I really like being here with you. And it was just like, and he looked genuine, like so sincere, and it was just so sad. And then he was like, and you're like so beautiful, blah blah blah. And then it's the voting.
And they happen to be on the ballot. Yep. And that's whenever they're having the conversation, she doesn't want to vote for them, but he's like, to the devil. He says
to the devil with false modesty. And she goes, the devil.
And she ends up putting a little X on their name, and so they end up voting for themselves. But it really doesn't matter because we end up seeing that in this nice long figure 8 shot that spans like over like 2 minutes or whatever. We have Norma and the boy with the cap also collecting the ballots, and they end up switching them or replacing them with false ones, and it's going to be a landslide because they X them all for
and the way that they did that was the most like non-discreet way.
Yeah, she just dropped them and then she's like kicking them. I'm like, someone should have seen that.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know. And then right before that, there's that random scene of the mom just cutting carrots, weird as fuck. Like,
oh yeah,
she just like pulls out a carrot and then she's like, and then she's literally just chopping. So I guess that was the knife she ends up using. But it's like
she was practicing.
What an odd scene.
I think it's just also to show like her going crazy and like what we're supposed to expect. Like, oh, y'all forgot it because we've been at the prom for a while. So like, don't forget about mom. She's at home losing
Mom's
it.
back here cutting carrots, all weird.
It. And so then we have them winning. They call them to win. And that's whenever they
she's
go up.
She's almost like crying because she's so happy.
She's so happy. She's going up to, they're walking up to the stage. They have a whole little, area for them to be crowned and have like these seats set up. And the whole time while this is happening, we also had seen that John Travolta and crazy girl Chris are underneath the stage and they've got a rope ready to go. And also we see that Sue made her way to the prom because she just, I guess, wanted to see what was happening. She was curious.
Yeah.
She doesn't know anything about the prank
that's happening. But the way
happening.
she's like smiling and like looking around, I thought it was like conniving. Like I thought she was in on it all to this point until then she sees the rope and then she's like, and then I was like, what? Sue literally wasn't in on it? Yeah. And I was like, oh no,
that
she was
your
legit
big twist.
just trying to be on. She was just trying to be sweet. And then he kisses her on stage.
He kisses her on stage in front of everybody. Even Sue's just watching.
Yeah.
You're like,
I was like,
cool.
Maybe they got an open relationship.
Yeah, or maybe she, I don't know.
That shit didn't exist. Well, it did.
I don't know, but yeah.
Not as much
prevalent
as it does today.
And so they're on stage. All this is happening. It's kind of slow-mo because then we have Miss Collins noticing Sue. Sue is noticing the bucket of blood. Carrie is just like having her little on-stage moment. We have her like all this light behind her, and then that's whenever Sue is trying to stop what's her face Chris from pulling the thing, but then Miss Collins is pulling her away, and then she like throws her out of the,
why
they don't know
she's
what's going
there.
on, and she thinks that Sue's up to no good, so she throws her out. That's whenever we have Chris pulling the bucket of blood and it falls on top of Carrie.
Yeah.
And Carrie is literally drenched in pig's blood.
And everyone's silent. And the inaudible dialogue like that happens here was so good. I loved it. Yeah. And then, I mean, you just see Norma. Norma starts it. Ball cap girl. She just like is like
belly laughing. But this is right after Tommy gets boinked with the can. Yeah. The bucket.
And then she's like hitting other people and stuff, like being like, laugh, laugh, laugh. And then, and then Tommy gets knocked down with the can. And I guess if that didn't kill him being unconscious and the whole school going up in flames, must have. So I guess his body could have just been stuck there too. Yeah. So,
poor guy.
So sad.
Tommy really got it bad.
I didn't realize he had died until at the end, because I was like, I was like, Tommy just got knocked out.
No, he's dead because he was in there. Because Carrie loses her ever living shit after this point and starts closing all the doors, locking everybody in. Because Norma and other two homeboys are trying to leave, and gets the fire hose and starts washing everybody down.
And all throughout all of this, you're getting, they're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you, like on repeat. And then
which is what her mom told her.
You're getting, I think, the Cassie Wright thing coming over again. Or
everything that's kind of happened and culminated over the movie that's belittled her and made her feel small.
Yeah.
And
all of those things are just like looping.
Also her psychosis. She thinks she also hallucinates that Coach Collins is laughing and everybody's laughing. Some people are probably laughing at her, but I don't think everybody was laughing at her like that. No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, and so she ends up killing everybody through either electrocution, like all the lights up top coming down.
Because that fire hose drenched everything. Yeah. Obviously, water, electricity,
fire
don't mix.
Some people burn. Miss Collins unfortunately gets killed as she's like screaming, "Carrie, no!"
Yeah, and it's like a big old sign or AC unit or something
falls and like cuts her in half basically. Yeah.
Smooshes her. Antonia.
And then we have like the teacher and principal at some point getting burned alive.
Yeah, they're getting electrocuted at the microphone thing, and that's where I think the principal for sure goes down. But then the
other dude,
the English teacher, gets like stuck in the backdrop, and he's like getting electrocuted more, and it's just then fucking flames. Wild. Yeah,
I wonder if
everything goes up in flames. Yeah. Her leaving covered in blood as the school's like on fire is dope as hell.
Yeah, it really is. The way she just walks out, she glides out. And then we have the doors closing behind her, and so we can assume that everybody who was in that building just burned to ashes.
Burned to dead.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Burned to death. And Carrie's getting even. She's getting her what do you call it? I don't know.
Vengeance.
Yeah. pretty much.
Get her revenge on all these motherfuckers.
Everybody who was really fucking mean to her.
Because then she's walking down the road. She's just trying to go home.
She really is.
And
this is such a cool. This is, I think, like my favorite scene in the whole movie.
it was good.
Whenever she's walking home, we have a fire truck going past her, but then coming towards her, we have Chris and John Travolta in his red car, and she wants to run her down.
Yeah.
And it's the way she like.
And it's from behind.
She's behind, but then Carrie does this really quick turn, but like it's more than that. It's like her body, and like she like ducks a little bit. It's super cool. And then the car just like goes right by her and just rolls and catches a blaze, and then she like blows it up with her mind.
They literally like burn to a crisp.
It's pretty cool.
It is.
She really she roasts her.
She was like, bye, bitch.
Mm-hmm. And then we have her getting home. She ends up walking upstairs. She takes
that's got to be a fire hazard.
Yeah.
In that house too.
Oh, all the candles lit?
So
many candles.
Also, that would have taken
Forever.
so much time.
She was at the prom for a while. Her mom's crazy. She probably did it.
She was cutting carrots, got done, lit a bunch of candles.
And so she's taking.
They were even on the bed.
Bath.
I'm sorry, they were on the bed.
They were everywhere.
Like on her mom's bed, there were just 2 candles standing up, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
All for Jesus.
I
Because
guess
she was trying to burn the witch.
Oh fuck! And at first, okay, whenever she goes up to take that bath, I didn't see the mom at first. I just saw the mannequin, and I thought it was a dress hanging there,
Oh,
and then
really?
I realized it was the mom, and I was like, "Ah!" It was kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then she takes her little bath. Poor Carrie's traumatized, and she's trying to wash the blood off of herself.
And the way I put, girl needs to drain that tub and start again. The water
There's
was
so much
so red.
Yes.
And I was like,
So much red.
She looked very clean for getting out of that. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, girl, no.
Yeah. And then so we have her. She's cleaned up. Then her mom is in her room, or comes into her room. She's in her room. She's in her room on the floor, right?
Yeah. So yeah, she's still behind her. She's still behind the door because she opens the door into her, and then she's just sitting there, and she's like, "Mama," and then she comes out from behind the door, and she doesn't question it at all. And I was like, I would have been like, what the fuck? Like, ugh.
I think Carrie's got other things on her mind right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's used to this shit.
Mm-hmm. And so her mom basically tells her they have to pray, right?
Yeah, she said I should have killed myself the first time he put it in me. And she says, sin never dies. And the mom's just like losing her shit. And she was like, I remember like when he was with me, his whiskey breath. And then she was like, I loved his dirty whiskey touch all over me.
She's like, I liked it.
I liked it.
It's
I
so
liked
weird.
it a lot.
Literally. Yeah, mom's crazy.
And then she says, now the devil has come home, saying she should have given her to God when she was born.
Which means she should have killed her baby.
Should have killed the baby.
But she was weak.
And then she
was a something woman. I forgot what she said.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. But then she says, we will pray for the last time. And I was like, oh.
What does that mean?
What?
And so, Carrie then bends over and they start praying, but then mom gets the knife and stabs her.
From like in between the floorboards.
Yeah, such a weird place to put it.
How'd you not trip over that handle?
And then literally stabs Carrie in the back.
Yeah.
And then Carrie goes tumbling down the stairs.
Because, I mean, they were right at the top of them. And there was no no handrail, no nothing.
She goes tumbling.
Doop, 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 doop.
And then after that, we have her mom coming after her again. And Carrie's just trying to like back away from her.
This scene was beautiful too. I loved it. The mom looks
sadistic.
So fucking... just the biggest grin on her face. She's making the like sign of the cross with the knife, and I was like, "Ooh!"
She feels like she's about to exterminate something evil and do her good deed. And that's whenever Carrie then is like pinned up against the corner, basically. So she has no choice. Her mom's coming at her with the knife, and she gets her telekinetic powers and starts throwing knives at her. Any knife, any sharp utensil in the kitchen, and she catches her by the hands. And so she ends up being almost like the way
she crucifies her, just like that creepy Jesus in her praying closet. Yeah. What was that saint's name?
Saint Sebastian.
He
had some arrows in his stomach, and so that was foreshadowing the whole time. And we get mom with all these knives stuck in her just like that, in her abdomen, her heart, her chest. And then mom has like this last dying orgasm, which is really interesting. The way she's like, is this moaning and screaming while she's basically dying.
Yeah.
And no wonder Carrie was like so freaking scared and like she couldn't even watch it. Like, one, she killed her mom, but still. And
I mean, at that point, I feel like
it
wouldn't have been that hard to do.
And so
she was a piece of shit.
after that, she yanks her mom out of the knives from her and like goes to the closet.
It was really funny how the mom's hand was like stuck
in the
wall.
in the wall, and she like
She's
just
pulling
yanks her out. Literally, that knife just like flowing across the room, and there's the house is falling apart. It's coming undone. She's essentially bringing it down on herself. I think because she's just so like.
Yeah, the house starts like it's literally caving in.
Yeah,
it is just like imploding.
And I think it's her psychosis. She's freaking out. She's like, she
looks
obviously
like
feels bad for killing her mom.
Down to hell.
I feel like she like almost like Stockholm. She's just like crap. Like, I just kill my mom. Like yeah.
Her mind is so like twisted and warped. Her relationship with her mother is, and
she thinks she probably did the worst thing ever, even though that was probably the most liberating thing she could have done.
And she takes him into the praying closet for, I guess, one last little act of
faith. I don't know.
Redemption. And and then the way that I love that scene with the like her being dead, both of them being dead in that room, and then just like creepy Jesus, Sebastian.
Yeah. The pan, the zoom in on his little eyes, kind of where we started earlier in the movie.
And Jesus
the
just
full
like,
circle. Yeah. And then we have her going down, bringing down the whole house. It goes into the earth, basically and essentially. And then we have Sue
in bed sick. She's like kind of moaning in her sleep.
She, I guess, through everything that she's been through, as kind of being almost like an only survivor.
Yeah.
She is probably going through what anyone else would be going through, and like sleeping a lot, and like her emotions are probably everywhere. And the mom is talking to a friend on the phone, I believe. And then we get Sue.
And that's how I figured out that everyone was dead. She's like, I didn't let them go into I didn't let her go to the funeral now that Tommy and everyone else is gone. Or like, and so I was like, wait, Tommy's dead from that bucket?
Because that essentially at that time, if everybody went to the prom, that was her whole class.
Yeah.
Like literally
all of them dead.
Yeah.
But then, so then now we're kind of in this dream sequence, and it's a very hazy,
it gives me
misty.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes. I put Carrie is the new Freddy.
Yeah.
Or Carrie was the OG Freddy.
Yeah, because it came out before. And so Sue is having this really beautiful sequence where she's visiting Carrie's grave. Well, not
it is just the house.
The house with the cross on top. But then it
says
like,
for sale, but Carrie White burns in hell.
And it's very like the music, it's whimsical, it's like very pristine looking. It looks like there's a glow to it.
Sue's just crying and she's being real sweet, trying to just leave some flowers. I was like, good for Sue.
And then the fucking hand just pops out of the dirt.
I literally jumped.
Yeah.
I jumped and was like, fuck.
This scene scared a lot of people, especially back in the day in 76 and when it came out in the theater.
I completely forgot about it. Like in my mind, I was like, something's about to happen. But then I was like, no, this is so nice. And then I was like, God.
Yeah.
I think Yams was sleeping on me and I like, boof, and she was like, what the fuck?
In cinema history, the hand coming out.
It got me good.
It was pretty good. And that's what a way to like end the movie as well.
Yeah.
It's basically a little fake out. And then we have Sue waking up out of a dream. So it was all a dream sequence, but she's not well because she's freaking out. And you can tell she's going to have some PTSD from this situation.
Yeah. The mom's hand was grabbing her arm, trying to like kind of like get a hold on her, wake her up. And Sue's just losing her mind because it's like where Carrie had grabbed her too. And so I was just like,
Essentially, I think she was already having that dream and her mom grabbed her to try to wake her up to do something or like take your medicine. And then in the dream, that's why the hand was like coming up and grabbing her.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
Fun facts.
Sure.
Star Wars and Carrie held joint auditions.
Oh, really?
So George Lucas and Brian De Palma held a joint audition to find actors for both Star Wars and Carrie.
That's funny.
So basically, like, this article says, like, what if Tommy Ross, Carrie's prom date, also auditioned for like Luke Skywalker, or Sissy Spacek was Princess Leia and stuff like that.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, that's really
that's funny. I've never heard of that. Yeah.
And there's a long-standing rumor that Fisher was rejected from Carrie because she refused to work nude. But then Fisher herself shot this down in an interview and said, not only do I love being nude, I would have been nude then, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, it's total bullshit.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I love that. Oh, several cast members thought the movie was a comedy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So Piper Laurie, who played Margaret, the mother, thought the movie was a dark comedy based on the script.
No wonder she was like, what am I watching?
What am I watching?
It came out. Why would she think it was a comedy?
I don't know. Maybe because of like how we talked about in Midsummer, like people just being so uncomfortable and not knowing how to process it.
But it's also based off of a novel that was like a horror novel.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you know that Stephen King only made $2,500 for this film?
That's bullshit.
That's what they paid him for the rights to Carrie to make it into a movie.
God damn it.
And it was his first book. Carrie was his first book. So it was pretty fast. And it got made into a movie 2 years after it came out.
Which I guess they didn't know. And maybe since it was his first book, maybe the mom didn't know. Like, we obviously know Stephen King as a major horror author, but maybe she didn't then.
That's crazy.
When Sissy Spacek was preparing for her character, she isolated herself from the rest of the like ensemble, and she completely just decorated her dressing room with heavy religious iconography and studied this illustrated Bible, and she studied the body language of people being stoned for their sins, starting or ending every scene in one of those positions, which I could definitely see that. Yeah. But yeah, that's creepy.
A lot of that going on.
Yes.
Like when she would be like, yeah.
Wow.
So, time for some booze?
Yes. Oh, you want to say oh, wait, no, there's actually some more. Sorry.
Yeah.
The water hose injured ball cap girl, Norma, during the prom scene.
I can see that.
The like pressure from the water.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It went into her, the water hit her directly in the ear and busted her eardrum.
Oh, dang.
Which is like,
painful.
Yeah. And then you had said earlier that Stephen King's name.
That's right. It was spelled wrong. Whenever the movie came out in like the title credits, they spelled his name with the Steven, even though it's a Phen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny. How are you gonna get the fucking author's name wrong?
Yeah. And at that point too, he still wasn't like who we know today.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there were other actresses considered for Carrie as well, like Glenn Close and Jessica Lange and Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, I could not
Sigourney
see
Weaver.
That I could
Farrah
see.
Fawcett.
I feel like Sigourney Weaver and Sissy Spacek give very
Bernadette
similar vibes.
Peters. Yeah, there's a lot of Kathleen Turner. Wow. Angelica Houston.
I can't.
Just a lot of actresses.
You said Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
No.
Probably not. I don't think she's ever been nude in a movie.
I mean, you get a little bit of a nip slip from Sissy, but not really. Like none of her like actual lady bits are shown.
Not the vagine.
Yeah.
No.
It's all, hers is all like no full frontal.
Yeah.
And then you have at one point when she gets out of the tub after the prom scene, her hair, when she's trying to dry it off, it like you see her actual nipple. It's like space just around it. But otherwise, her hair's long enough to cover everything. Or the whole first shower scene, her hands were cupping her breasts the whole time. Her dirty pillows.
It does. It shows her nipples. It shows this part where she goes
just like a little bit. But nothing. You don't ever see her full bush or anything.
No.
But yes, boo time.
I'm gonna give it 4 boos.
4 boos.
Yeah, it's a solid horror movie. I liked it. I actually haven't seen the original. I feel like I've seen pieces of it before, but never in whole. And I've seen the newer version of it that came out with his Zoe, right? That's her name?
I don't know. I've not seen the newer one.
Chloe Moretz.
Oh, Chloe Grace Moretz.
There you go. Yeah. I got all the 3 names backwards. But it was okay. And now watching this one, because they're pretty much literally, they copied everything that happened in this one.
Shot for shot
almost. Added a little here, changed a little there, but it was pretty much the same. And I like this one a lot more than I like that one.
Yeah,
there was a lot more like depth to the acting in the older one, and the newer one didn't have that as much.
Just didn't capture it.
Yeah, it didn't capture it, the emotion, the feeling like of the coach, like, and the girls, their nastiness. Like the newer one, it just wasn't gritty enough. I feel like it wasn't raw enough. Yeah,
it was too polished.
It was too polished.
Watch it.
It was like a little too polished. But there are some scenes like in the newer one like the ending scene for Chris, it's a lot more satisfying because she like it's not just like a car, it's like the car crashes, but she's still alive, and then like other like it's a lot more like gives satisfaction to like the mean girl getting her comeuppance.
I feel like I wouldn't mind. I would like. To
I mean, it was
watch
still
that.
good, yeah. But like this one's better now. That
I just whenever I saw that there was a remake of it, I was like, the first one, the original was pretty good. Even though I haven't seen it in years, I was like, I remember it being pretty solid. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the original Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah. So I only know the remake, and it's good.
And what I know for most, it's like.
Did
this
you
one,
think Carrie was good before? Like the remake?
Oh, yeah, I did.
But now watching this
the Hills Have
like
Eyes as well, the 2006 one is a shot for shot as Wes Craven's. So it would be the same thing. It was just
which one did it better?
I kind of want to go watch the other one now.
Yeah, me too.
Your B rating.
I also feel I don't know. I kind of because it made me jump so much. Like that last one? No, I was thinking 4.5. I really liked it. And it's pretty unsettling. There's a lot of it where I'm like, ew. Like that mom just gives me
the heebie-jeebies.
There were so many times where I literally was like, ew.
Yeah.
No. Gross. Yeah, I'll stick. No. I'm going to give it a 4.
4.
Yeah. I feel like it is a solid 4. I always forget whatever I rate anything else. And so
like what is the scale of like comparing?
I'm like, I really liked it.
It's a 4 for me. I feel like enjoyed it. It made me feel a little spooked at some points. I feel like it was a solid story. I feel like obviously it's a classic. Holds a little bit more prestige.
Yeah.
In terms of the horror scope, and in terms of watching it now, 76 to now, it's almost in 2026. It's going to be what? I don't do math. 30, 40, 50 years, I believe, old. So I mean, like this, in just a few years, it'll be 50 years old.
And it
still holds up. It's really good.
Exactly. And Mike,
a little like maybe the jargon's a little outdated, but for the most part, it's still the same.
But overall. And then Mike, our
showrunner,
the god,
basically,
he had said that he would give it a solid 4, and that this was basically the only film that ever made his mom scream.
Whenever the hand came out at the end.
That hand, it got me. It got me good. I did have, so we did get more response. Because last week we had mentioned Jeff, who had been very supportive and everything, but he's actually going through and rewatching like all of the movies with.
Oh wow, damn!
Yeah,
with the commentary.
And so I guess
awesome. Shout out, Jeff.
In one point in our the haunting episode, I think you had probably said like I would recommend just getting like baked and watching this.
Yeah,
and so he said,
did he do that?
Yep.
That's amazing.
He said, my roommate and I got baked out of our minds and then re-upped in the middle and watched The Haunting. And he said, what a fucking treat. And he said, 4 booze from me. And he said, whoever designed all the furniture and wall molds of baby faces needs to calm down.
Yeah, especially if you're baked out of your mind. Yeah. I can see that.
He says, I also can't get over Owen Wilson's character. Fuck, what a movie. And he said about that staircase and stuff in the greenhouse, the conservatory.
Are coming to me, that movie. Yeah.
Whenever I responded, I was like, I think, are you referring to the ones in the conservatory greenhouse thing? Because that's the one movie we recorded that I didn't watch before.
On The Haunting. Oh yeah.
And so I was like, eek. But yeah, it was, And then
the early days.
And they had responded to our Hills Have Eyes episode, and he said that he loved the review as always and stuff. And so, yay.
Shout out, Jeff.
It's exciting.
Thank you for listening.
And they have a favorite horror movie that they want us to cover eventually, and that's Mama.
Oh, okay.
Which Mama was good.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I remember the only thing I didn't really like was I think when they showed
actual
her face
design.
That's just that's what I always hate though. So
you like a little more mystery in there.
Because that she was so creepy when you couldn't actually see her when she's just like around. I was like, what? No.
I remember I watched that in theater.
Yeah. I was
pretty
trying to
good.
remember if I had seen it in theaters, but then I think I was getting it confused with, what's that one with Daniel Radcliffe? The Lady in Black.
The Lady in Black.
Yeah. The whole time I just was like, you're a wizard, Harry. And that's like, I was like, that's a Dementor, bitch. Get it.
Poor thing, I
Like,
can't see him anything outside of Harry Potter.
I couldn't in that film, but then in like, what's the one, like Horns or whatever?
I haven't seen it, but I know which one you're talking about.
Was really good.
yeah.
And then so was the one where he's like a dead body. What is that?
I don't know.
He's just like literally a dead corpse who like helps this person get back. Oh,
I don't know.
oh, it's actually a really good film, and I would recommend it. And I'm just completely blanking on the fucking
Not a
name
horror
right
film,
now.
right?
No.
okay.
It's kind of a comedy.
Mhm.
I think it's like definitely. Damn, that's Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
When the fuck he got that many abs?
He's been having that.
Shit, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all. I just
All
googled
thirst.
it. Swiss Army Man.
I've never heard of it.
2016. It's a comedy adventure. Yeah, literally, he's just like this dead corpse that this guy like brings around, and I think he
Huh.
like farts and it helps him get through the water or something.
Fun.
Yeah. Oh, it was really good.
But yeah, I'll have to put it on my list,
It's a trip of a movie.
and
but
I'll have to watch it baked.
yes.
But once again and always, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Studios.
Yes, that's right. They take great care of us.
Check out all the other podcasts on roguemedianetwork.com.
There's lots of them, and
Many of them.
you can also listen to all of those podcasts, but also, most importantly, our podcast on any streaming platform, wherever you get your podcast, but the biggest two being
Spotify.
and Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And then wherever you do listen, please don't forget to,
Rate, review, like, and subscribe.
because it is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And then if you want to reach out to us on Instagram as well, tell us your favorite horror film that you want us to cover, because
Please do so.
it would be so fun if we did like a month of favorites too.
Ooh, that
Have
would
we
be
covered
good.
your
A month of
favorite?
suggestions as well.
Oh yeah, like a month of suggestions.
And
That
next
would be
week,
fun.
just if you're listening and you want to follow along, we're going to be covering Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body,
Yeah,
another classic. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Back
kind of
to-
want to back to school, tie into school, and these are students.
I was talking with Andrew actually, because I was like, I think it would be fun to do some back to school ones, and I was thinking of like The Gallows, but then I had never seen it. Someone had recommended it to me
Yeah.
once, and so I was looking up reviews, and it looked like it sucks. So I was like, I'm not going to recommend that. But then
yeah,
Andrew like looked it up, and he was like, oh, like Jennifer's Body, and then he had never seen it,
Oh,
and
cute.
so I was
Yeah.
like, it's Megan Fox, who I saw recently when I went to the Machine. Well, I
Gun
don't
Kelly?
like Machine Gun Kelly, but I went to see Black Bear open for him, and but obviously she's like married to him or whatever, and she was there, and I was like, cool, but she and Amanda Seyfried are in that, and he was like, I'm sorry, Megan Fox is obsessed with Amanda Seyfried, and I was like,
yeah.
he was like, shouldn't it be the other way around?
Aw, don't come for Amanda like that.
I said that's what I said. I was like, she's like your perfect all-American girl,
Yeah.
little blonde hair.
And at that point, too,
That's
Jennifer,
all. No, I'm just kidding.
Jennifer's obsessed with drinking blood.
Mm-hmm.
Carnal being.
I'm
but
excited,
we're
and
excited.
also one of my favorite songs came from this
Oh, really?
soundtrack.
And
Yeah.
then after that, I guess if we want to mention as well, we're going to be covering the Fear Streets
Yes.
1, 2, and 3.
which we mentioned briefly in the last episode.
Which is, I believe it's like 1994, 1976, and 17 something or something like that. But
Dope. I'm
yeah,
excited.
Yeah, you haven't seen them, right?
No.
I saw them,
What are those
but I will
on?
be excited to watch it again. Netflix.
Netflix.
Yes.
Okay,
so
I got that.
It's all on Netflix, you guys. Jennifer's Body, not so sure, but it should be on
Yeah.
something.
I think Jennifer's Body's on Amazon Prime, which is where I watched this film today. It was included in Amazon.
Oh, cute. Well, I watched this one. It's also on Shudder.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Shout out to Shudder.
Shout out to Shudder.
Yes. Plug in for Shudder.
yeah.
But, yeah.
I should have looked there first.
Yeah.
I had to restart my
That's interesting.
whole
But
TV.
if it was
I was logged out of everything. Even though the Shudder account's mine, I knew that one. I should have logged into that first.
But I think, is that all we have for this episode?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys. Well,
Until next time.
bye, bays.
Bye,
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.